here with Marcy, and you're going to tell me about live blood analysis.
Yes.
So please explain. I see all your pictures and all your stuff, and this is very fascinating on what you can see with the blood.
I'm glad that it fascinates you. That's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will everybody else who watches this. When I do a session with a client, typically we like to do at least 2 hours because we do a series of levels in the work. A lot of people who do what I call live cell imaging are looking at live blood. So I'm taking a lancet, I'm taking a little prick of blood on the finger, putting it on a slide, putting it under the microscope. I have a monitor and a camera that goes on top of the microscope, right? So we're projecting that image, right, from your blood. So we're taking that first live blood sample, and then we take a separate slide and take a series of 6 or 7 blots that are allowed to dry on the slide. And that way we're looking at a dry sample and we get a whole different data set from the dry sample. And it's really cool because you can very easily, anybody can very easily under the microscope see levels of heavy metal, yeast, oxidative stress, food allergies, and even trauma to the body, car accident.
Amazing.
It is, in
That's
a single drop of blood.
Fascinating. On 1 drop of blood.
From 1 drop of blood.
And it's taken anywhere, no matter where it is on your body or
Well,
whatever.
it's taken from the finger, yeah.
Okay,
It's capillary blood, right?
Okay.
So we're taking you are amazing. But I don't normally, I mean, it takes a while for people to really sort of have, for the camera shutter to sort of open and people to really grasp the import of this work.
Yeah.
But this is one way to get there because it's hard for people to see this particularly, but this is a picture of 10 different people who were tested at Weston Price. It's a research center. And they were basically tested, their blood was taken prior to exposure to a cell phone. So the blood was taken, the live sample was taken, and that person was on the phone for about 15 minutes. The phone was turned on, held near the head, and then a second sample was taken, okay? So these are, you'll see from the sample, it's going to be hard to see on camera, but we can also do a close-up of it. So this is before and after, before and after.
Just on this Wi-Fi,
yes.
Just what, and you can see that in the blood.
This sample at the bottom is the clearest example of what that looks like. This is a perfectly good, healthy blood sample. These are round blood cells. That's a white blood cell because you always want to see at least 1 or 2 white blood cells in any given screenshot of the live cell samples, right? This is 15 minutes later after exposure to the phone. So in other words, all of the cells are now, the blood cells should be negatively charged, right? Every cell, like if you imagine this room full of red balloons, right? And they're all floating in the room, right? Because let's pretend they're negatively charged. So if you have one balloon that's got a lot of toxic sludge in it, and another balloon that you rub on your knee, and now you can put it on the wall because it has an electrostatic charge. Now you have a positive charge on the blood cells. So if you have negative blood cells and positively charged blood cells, they're going to start to connect. They're going to start to connect with each other, right? And they are then forming what's called rouleau. There's a more
sticky.
Yeah, well, they're not even it becomes sticky, but the reason that they're connecting is because of the charge. There's positive and negative. So now they're sticking.
So I'm gonna. I don't know if you can see this, but this is right here. So
those
that's the
last two
white
on the
blood
bottom.
cells. It's hard to tell because it's black, but there you can see the membrane. They're white. They're circles, and then this one they're all kind of clumped together.
Exactly.
And so there's 10
those are
different
all
samples
variations of
here,
the gene.
and that's 15 minutes.
That's 15 minutes.
With cell phone use.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're on the phone all day, which a lot of people are on the computer, this
Yes.
becomes the norm for people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And when I was doing this work in San Diego, I lived out west for a while. I was doing this work in San Diego, which is a 5G hub. Just like DC is a 5G hub, New York is a 5G hub, right? And there's more I could share about that in terms of what we've just been through over the past 5 years in terms of the role of 5G in the situation. But that's what happens. And so what happens gradually is that everybody who is being exposed to the cell phone influence or whatever digital technology throughout the course of the day, the blood cells begin to start lining up. You start to see this pattern where they're forming vertical and horizontal linear formations because of the electromagnetic spin, right?
Yeah.
So when you combine that with heavy metals that we're all being exposed to,
Yeah.
that's why. It's
So this really, I can't imagine if that's going in your blood, how is that going to affect your your organs, your everything else in your
Oh,
body,
absolutely.
your energy level, your
Parasitic
sluggy
because parasites
parasites.
feed on heavy metals,
Oh, gosh,
right?
yeah.
So that's why a lot of times when people do parasite cleanses, it's not quite enough because there's all the heavy metal
You have to
content in
do a lot
parasite.
of stuff, yeah.
So parasites serve a function, actually. They're good parasites and bad parasites. It's kind of like taking out the garbage. You know, it serves a function at a certain level, but you don't want too many. You don't want the wrong kind.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's
that's
great.
like the first thing that
All
we
right.
start with.
Well,
So
thank you. I'm going to pause this and
Okay.
then we'll do some